All right. Hello, everybody. This is the third video of this video series about deploying or running Node.js Express servers in a serverless environment, more specifically AWS. The last two videos were about a small introduction and then how to have the basic setup and deploy it for the first couple of times. Yeah, this time we're gonna make a couple of adjustments based on my personal preference. I mean, obviously you're free to do it however you want, but yeah, this is just how I like to do it. And in the future, we're also gonna connect the custom domain and automate the deployments with GitHub Actions. As always, there is the repository, which you can find here, also linked down below. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay. Well, last time we stopped at basically we deleted a bunch of files from the source folder, but we kept most of the structure the same. So let me try to actually let me make this one a little bit bigger. Okay, here we go. So in this package JSON, there's a whole lot going on, which is expected somewhat, right? Yeah, because there's a whole lot to deal with, right? And then there's also a lot of these injections, verbal injections into these commands, and these are in here in the package JSON in the config. My goal is to have two different deployments so that we have one staging. Well, you could have as many as you want with this setup, with my setup rather. With this setup, you're kind of stuck with one because otherwise it's just gonna be you only have one config field in package.json, and they're always referencing this one here. But with a couple of minor adjustments, you can have as many as you want. Basically, so you can have one development server, one staging server, and one production server if you want. I'm just gonna do one dev server and one production server. And just for you to show, I'm gonna have, so this is a project I'm working on, Asetizer. You should check that out as well. But the API that I'm building for that is reachable at api.asetizer.com. And that is debug false. That's the production environment, right? And then I also have api.dev.asetizer.com, which is the development server, right? And I want to have the kind of the same setup here as well. Yeah, so as I said, we're gonna shuffle around the files, the commands, and so on a little bit, and then make sure that it works. Okay, let's get started. Then I'm gonna close all that for now, so we're not distracted too much. Good. Okay, so first thing, what I like to do is to have everything in the correct place. I think to have a local app.localJS is not correct. To have it in the root directory, I would put it in the scripts folder, because the scripts folder is to run scripts, and that's exactly what we do. I'm just gonna move that here, and I'm gonna call that dev, right? This is the development server, the local development server. So I'm gonna move that in here, and then to start, we're gonna have node scripts dev.js. Okay, I'm gonna run start, and there's something wrong. Scripts dev.js. Okay, Okay, what is wrong there? Oh, that was just the import because I moved it into the folder. App listing on localhost 3000. Very good. Now, yeah, next iteration would be if you have, well, if we change something in here, let's say I'm gonna just return a new date, right? If I now reload, the changes are not here, so that's not great, right? What I want to have is that if we run the server locally, I just want to rerun the server every time. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna install nodemon. Can check it out on npm if you want. That's basically watching your files, and if there's changes, it's gonna restart that, right? So nodemon, and then scripts dev.js, and then gonna watch the source folder. You don't need that, but yeah, I like to have that. Scripts dev.js. And now also I like to call that dev, right? Not start, because for me start would be the deployed server, but that's also just my personal preference. Gonna run npm run dev. There we go. And then I do have that. Perfect. Now let me change something in here. So localhost, I don't know, debug success. Let me put success false. Success false, and now you can see the server is restarting, and that now if I reload, I get that updated field. So that's very good. That's the first thing that I wanted to do. Okay, let's see what else we do have. Yeah, we don't have much here anymore. Great. Now next up. What is next? What is next? Okay, maybe I'm gonna rename that to server. I don't like it when the backend part is called app instead of server. Okay, we're gonna have this variable called server. Very good, and then this is gonna be required in Lambda and also in dev, right? Dev actually starts out a server, and then Lambda executes the express handlers and all that to generate a response. So both of them use this file. I'm gonna rename that to index.js. And you could argue maybe it's not the index.js because Lambda would be the index.js, but this is for us, I would say this is the main file that we're dealing with, which both of them use. Okay, so here I'm gonna also call that server, and then yeah, that renamed it already. Perfect. And I'm gonna call server.listen. Very nice. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same thing in Lambda. Is server, and they're expecting an object with the property app, and I pass server as the value. Okay, very nice. And then let's see, yeah, npm dev should work still. Localhost 3000. Very, very good. Okay, next thing. Now, this is the server port for the local environment is just hard coded here, which is okay, but then sometimes you do have something else running on localhost. So one thing that I like to do is use something called port finder. Npm install port finder. This just a development dependency. Okay, let me actually show you real quick. Npm JS port finder. There we go. So have that in the history. Okay, very good. We can use a callback or our function, a promise. Sorry, I'm gonna use it this way. I'm gonna say port finder.paste port is 3000. And then I'm gonna go port finder dot get port promise, and then port, and then I'm gonna go server dot listen on this port. Okay, let's see. That still works. npm run dev. Okay, on 8000 this time. That's interesting. Base port finder dot base port. That should be here actually. Oh well, that's a nice typo. Base port. Okay. There we go. Just saw that it doesn't watch the scripts.dev.js because if I change that to 4000, it doesn't reload. I think maybe I need to pass that twice. No, probably not. Let me check node_mon real quick. Okay. Watch libs. Okay, that should work. I'm not sure. Scripts dev.js. Okay, let's see. That's better. Let's say I change it to 4000. No, it's changing it. Okay, whatever. And then if I change something here, success true, it's also restarting. Very good. It's actually restarting twice. Okay, I'm not gonna go too deep into that. Yeah. So now, well, now I can also run it twice. Right, I have 3000. And then if I run it again, the port is gonna be occupied, the 3000 port. So it should give me, yeah, a new port. Perfect. So now I have 2 instances of the server running, and that's, I mean, yeah, that's not really a real world scenario. But let's say you have a different project already running on 3000, then it just like goes to the next one. I like to use that. Okay, next up, just a small change. I like to use chalk. So npm install chalk to make that a little bit more colorful. Server listening on, and then I'm gonna const chalk is or require chalk bold blue. With all these things, if you don't know what they're doing, well, either you can just watch, or if you want to know more about it, just Google them, right? npm chalk, and then you're gonna find that package here, and then just read through it if you want to. Okay, let me npm run dev again, and there we go. Now it's nice and blue. Very good. I just like to highlight that a little bit. The normal logs can be in just that normal color, but yeah, this one here is just easily identifiable. I can just click on it, and then I'm there. Okay. Very nice. Now. Okay, yeah, just remember that this here is also hard-coded. So in general, I would say that's not a great thing. It's not super important because that's just for like the fallback value for the debug server. But still, if I have a variable port, or even if I have a fixed port, I don't necessarily think that it's great to have that hard-coded twice. So here I would just say global.port is port, right? Global, you can just access that anywhere in the process. You shouldn't use that very often. but sometimes it's quite useful to transfer that without creating a function that you pass a that you have a parameter or anything like that. And then here we can just say global.port. Okay. There you go, still working. We can, yeah, let's try it if it works here as well. So it's 3001. But go here, that is being displayed correctly, right? Remember, I returned that here from the request. Okay. That's not HTTPS, but that's okay. I mean, yeah, not gonna go too deep into that as well. Good. Good. We're getting there. It's gonna take a little bit, but that's fine. So what else do we need? This looks fine. This also looks fine. And then, I mean, obviously here, you can do whatever you want with it. I expect that you know a little bit of Express. Express is like probably the most used framework for Node.js servers. So I'm just, yeah, I'm expecting you to know a little bit about that. If not, I mean, you can also look it up. But yeah, you can build any routes in here, router.get/users, and then have your handler here, right? And then that will be accessible at /users, right? Something like that. But yeah, I'm not gonna worry too much about the actual API implementation because that's different to every project. But the surrounding part, I think, can be the same for every project. Okay, next up, we do have, well, I do want to implement something. Yeah, I want to implement, I want to have Prettier and ESLint here, right? In one of my last videos, I set up a script that does that for me. So if you're interested in that, check it out. I created a script that I can just call with setup lint, and then it's gonna do everything for me. So let's see. That works. Hopefully it's not gonna make it worse. And sometimes with ESLint, I just I get a little bit of errors, something like this here. Port finder is not published. That's okay. That's okay. And then unexpected console statement. That's okay because that's debugging. Okay, there we go. But other than that, looks good. And ESLint works, and Prettier as well. That's perfect. Prettier, yeah, it's just to format my code, which is really nice. Good. Next up, I think that's good for now. Yeah, that's fine as well because that's specific to Lambda. So that's okay. That I got some errors here. More important is that all this is okay, and then I would build out my source folder, and then that's fine. Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here and continue in the next video. Next up, we're gonna probably work on this guy a little bit. So I'm gonna restructure that a little bit, and then extract this one here to something else, right? So that we can have two different deployments. And then I'm gonna rename a couple of things, but yeah. I think for this video, it's good enough. Let me know if you think these changes that I did are useful or how you like to do them. And yeah, if you have any questions, also let me know. Remember, check out the GitHub repository. And then other than that, see you in the next one.